Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Liberty Ventures podcast. I know that it's been a little bit since I last did this, and that's actually because we're in wedding season here at Liberty Ventures. I just got married myself last week, and so took a little bit of time to spend with my new bride and my family and friends who came out, which was amazing. And actually, this week we've got our chief of staff, Michelle Bernier's wedding coming up. So a lot's been going on. That's why we're not putting out an edition of the Capitals for Capitalism magazine in November 2025. We will be back next month, though, in December, recapping the Principled Business Summit. So if you weren't able to join us there, you're going to get to read all about who the speakers were, some of the highlights from other participants, and what went on beyond just the big names that I'm sure you heard about and tracked, like Vivek Ramaswamy there talking about the attacks on free market capitalism from both the left and the right, like Joe DeSena, the founder of Spartan Racing, pushing everyone to do the hard things in life in order to not just build up your business, but lead the kind of life that you want, as well as Brock Pierce from the Bitcoin Foundation, really making a call for everyone who's in business to think deeply about what capitalism means and why we should stand up for it, even when it's really challenging to do so, which was a common theme from speakers at the summit, including Tim Draper from Draper and Associates calling on capitalists to stand up for what's right, and Patrick Byrne, the former CEO of Overstock.com, really encouraging business leaders to be willing to say the things that are uncomfortable in society if you know it's right and if it's going to still advance the principles of liberty and capitalism. And something that's happened recently that I want to address here is, of course, the fact that the location where we held the Principled Business Summit the last 2 years, New York City, has just elected an avowed socialist to become mayor. Now, we'd already made the decision to move the Principled Business Summit to Austin, Texas, and announced it before. So can't say that we made a decision based on what happened. This just reaffirms to me, though, that we made the right decision. Not necessarily because I expect a lot of changes in the city. We'll see what happens with this. But because at bare minimum, this is sending a signal that the city is not as receptive to capitalism as it used to be, that it wants change and that something has gone wrong. And it's unfortunate to see that happen. But it's also something that we need to be cognizant of as capitalists for capitalism, that there are still lots of people who are highly critical of this incredible system. Some of it being because they don't understand what capitalism really means, this free exchange of goods and services between individuals who have chosen to engage in this activity, and that top-down control directing businesses on what to produce, who to trade with, how to run their businesses does not work out. It not only is an immoral way to engage with people, it is a destructive one. And the silver lining to this could be that we're going to have yet another clear example of where socialism fails. We already have had examples of this in other cities that have tried some of the policies that want to be adopted. One of our interns this summer at Liberty Ventures is from Chicago, and she wrote a great article for our magazine about the attempt in her city, Chicago, to have government-run grocery stores and how quickly that failed itself. We'll see this happen in New York, I'm sure, if the attempt takes place there as well. But the important lesson for everyone who cares about capitalism, who is, whether you're an investor, an executive, or an entrepreneur, is to keep in mind that it's up to each of you to be willing to speak up for this system. Your job is not just to run your individual business, to get individual returns. That is obviously what you do. But the purpose of business is to create value in the world. And the purpose of being a business leader ought to be to advance the ability to do business. And that means advancing the system in which business is possible, capitalism itself. And to get your own story out there in the world, to inspire people to be supportive of the system, instead of critical of it, and instead of them thinking that all business is just evil, greedy, and destructive. And we see a number of businesses in the Liberty Ventures Network already doing this incredibly well. I want to give a shout out to Angel Studios that just went public about a month or two ago. That is developing incredible stories that are not just virtuous and are committed to being family friendly, but are including positive messages of liberty and capitalism in them as well. Next summer, I am so excited for their movie Young Washington to come out, both because of the content that I'm sure is going to be in there. It's shocking to me that no one has developed a film around George Washington like this before, especially in his early years. I think that's going to be really exciting for the 250th anniversary of America's founding, but also because Kelsey Grammer is getting involved in the network now too. Every year, we organize a Principled Business Summit at Sir Richard Branson's home, Necker Island. And next year, coming up from May 12th to 16th, we're gearing up for our third annual summit there. And Kelsey is going to be one of our special guests, where he's going to talk about the importance of the 250th anniversary of America, of the role of capitalism in building this incredible country, and all the opportunities that are available to us now if we lean into protecting the republic that was established for us beforehand. And it's going to be an amazing event. We only have space for about 50 members of the Liberty Ventures Network to come out. If you're interested in being one of them, go to the website, take a look at the event, or reach out to me and let me know so that we are able to consider your nomination to join us there. But as we get close to the end of the year, what I want to do is actually invite all of you to give me and Liberty Ventures feedback for how we can make what we're sharing with you even more impactful. What do you want to hear more of? Do you want to hear more stories of founders who are values aligned and what they're building right now? Do you want more advice from leaders who have been through the ringer already, the luminaries as we call them, like John Mackey from Whole Foods or Joe DeSena from Spartan Racing, sharing their lessons for building effective businesses? Or do you want to get more advice from other investors with how they find opportunities, diligence opportunities, or think about leveraging their position to make the world freer and more prosperous? As we build out this podcast and all of our media channels going forward, your suggestions for what we should include is going to go a long way to guide what we do. So because we are in Liberty Ventures wedding season, I'm going to keep this short, but want to say thank you to all of you for being principled business leaders, for being capitalists for capitalism, and for being a part of the Liberty Ventures Network, building this incredible movement that is working with other business leaders to be the best representatives of, advocates for, and collaborators in capitalism. Thanks so much, and I'll talk with you soon.